LeBron James's school has been in the news recently, last day or so, for underperforming in certain state metrics. I believe the headline read, every eighth grade student has failed the state level requirement for math
Mm-hmm.
for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Um, I could believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I could believe it. Um, I'm not gonna necessarily impugn LeBron James or necessarily that school in particular based on that because I'm familiar with a lot of schools and I know that you can throw a dart at a board and hit a school in Chicago with a 6% proficiency for
Mm-hmm.
math or a 3% proficiency for reading, meaning 3% of the kids are at grade level for this particular thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
even in Akron, I believe 60% of the children are below that level citywide.
hmm
And so once you take that into account, and then you also got to realize where this school started, like where these children started at. This is a charter school, but it's not like normal charter schools where they take the best and the brightest and kick everybody else out.
they don't.
They do
I thought that's
not.
what charter schools do. I thought charter schools always take the best, most accomplished kids from the area and siphon them off to their own little,
Yeah, that
segregated
definitely
area.
that is definitely what most charter schools do. This one was different. This one began with those same students. Um, what they did was they took all of the children in third grade who were um, in the lowest 20 percentile in testing
Mm.
and had a drawing and had a lottery and selected out of those students. So they didn't take the brightest and the smartest and the best. They took those who were already struggling,
They took those in most need of
added attention, and
added attention and work support. Most
and
need of support for to get them to where they need to be.
the ones who would have been just completely forgotten about in any other situation.
hmm
And they focused on those students. And not only those students, but also their families. Like the school had a GED program for the parents of the children who wanted
Because
to get their
because often
GEDs.
because oftentimes I think that you can tie academic success to age of parent,
Hmm.
and sometimes if a parent were to have a child earlier in life, they may not have had the opportunity to complete a high school course,
Hmm.
which would continue to limit them going forward in life to expand any other educational avenues or career avenues. It would work to greatly impact that, right?
Hmm.
Having a kid very early.
Yeah, and the love for education and the pursuit of education definitely should start at home.
One of the
Parents.
biggest indicators I think one of the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest, but I think one of the bigger indicators of childhood academic success is the academic success of the parent.
Mm,
Isn't that? I think that's one of the heavier predictors. Meaning, children of college educated people tend to do better on average than children of non-college educated people. And I think it
Mhm.
shows true for children of high school graduates, non-high school graduates, and so on and so forth. So it goes into reason as to why he would tie a program at his school to getting the GEDs for parents of students enrolled to school. Because if you're picking the worst performing academic children, you probably have a bigger pool of academically limited parents,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So it seems like he's doing a pretty holistic approach to trying to increase these kids'
Chances of
environment
success.
environment for success.
Mhm.
That's what's
And
up. That's what's up.
so,
I ain't mad at that.
yeah, so the hoopla has been made because these students are not performing at grade level. However, there is no there is no comment about how much they have improved from where they started. I mean, over the first couple of years, there was studies that show that there was great improvement in their ability to um, in their scores. So
Hmm.
if that improvement sustains a couple years, it still may not be enough to get them to grade level. However, it's a lot better than it would have been.
Had they not been possibly at that school, if they remained at they if they came in and they were 2 to 3 grade levels behind,
Hmm.
and they leaving and they're a grade level behind, is that improvement? Is that success?
I believe it is.
Was that a good job uh, on the school's behalf?
I believe it is because that shows that these children have progressed and are continuing to work and continuing to improve. Like
Mm,
if and it shows that these kids are interested in improving.
I can
Like
see that.
like if they had no interest, then they would continue to just be at the bottom, like nowhere near the goals.
They never start closing that gap between where they are and where they're supposed to be.
Hmm.
But if the studies bear out that they are closing the gap from where they were to where they're supposed to be at a greater tick than they would have, or the kids that stay behind, maybe. Like it's a lot of things that I would want to analyze before I call his school a failure. Before I say that
Hmm.
his school isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. Because I know a lot of schools in existence where, like I said, the kids are not at the grade level. So to single his school out as to say, well, your kids aren't at grade level, most kids aren't right now,
Yeah.
especially after COVID, especially after years and years and years of the dilution of the education system in America. A lot of kids fell behind. A lot of kids are
Hmm.
not where they're supposed to be. And
Yeah.
statewide exams tend to expose that more so than anything on a local level, meaning in the school level.
Yeah. I definitely agree, and I feel like yeah, it definitely needs to be a lot more looked at before calling this school any type of failure or something like that.
Hmm.
So, I don't. I feel like there's a problem with this rushed ass, quick to judgment on the school without looking into all of that. There needs to be a lot more weight to determine whether or not the school was successful.
Hmm. Yep. And I see people out there that say, there's no excuses. School's failing, the school's failing, the kids failing, the kids is failing. But it's imperative that you take into context the full range of contributing factors to these blanket statements that just get thrown around. You can't just take it something on face value and just listen to it and be like, okay, well, yeah, horrible. You gotta look at you gotta do your due diligence to look at the numbers. And if the numbers bear out the school is doing bad, then the school's doing bad. I don't know what those numbers are. Um, from what I saw, from what I heard from what you said, was that the students were improving.
Yeah, the last reports I saw, they were from a while ago, but they showed that the children were improving, and their improvement happening at a greater clip than a lot of the schools in the area. Now, granted, they
Mhm.
had a lot more ground to cover, but still, the improvement was there.
Just 'cause you got a lot more ground to cover, you shouldn't be penalized for covering it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You made up what you had to make up. And while it's no badge of honor, it's also not a demerit. Like I just think we should be fair and look at what is beneficial to us and what is not. And I think that school that he has is definitely beneficial. It's a good model for people to follow.
Hmm.
To especially to look at those of us that are um the least looked after. And you can say, well, he taking those kids, he should take the other kids that are smart and do all that stuff. There's plenty of people that want to come take them kids.
Yeah.
Also, even if you don't take those kids, you take the ones that are underperforming tremendously. You know that does help those smarter kids that are at those other schools by reducing the population there, thereby allowing a teacher to have more time to devote to a smaller class size so they can be more
Hmm.
attentive and they can get also when the students do better, they tend to behave a little bit better. So now you can possibly push the class even further without the need to stay back a little bit and artificially inhibit it because Timmy and Billy and Jane over there are not going to be able to keep up with the accelerated pace that we on.
Hmm. And
You got to look at the thing from multiple angles. You can't just look at it from this side, what you teaching, what they learning. Sometimes they're helping you by removing the problems too,
yeah,
removing the issues and allowing those motherfuckers to get some breathing room.
we saw it in The Wire season 4
Brown
when
bag.
when Naaman and little shorty that little short fat kid, they got pulled out of the class with god damn it, what is my nigga the ball dude name? God damn it.
You know I ain't
Dude
don't
that
know about
made Amsterdam, Colvin, Bunny Colvin. When Bunny Colvin had the program at the schools, they took the worst, the ones that were thought of as impossible to reach, the corner
mm,
boys as they called them, and they taught them, and they tried to figure out a way to teach them, and it
because it's
didn't
gonna
work
have
for a
to
lot
be
of them.
but it's gonna have to be different for those individuals.
Hmm.
But you can experiment with them at this point. They weren't getting nothing no way.
Yeah, so we're gonna try something and hope see if this works,
Hmm.
because the traditional model of education was not working for them. And as it went with Naaman, that experimental knowledge, and that experimental class pushed him to excel in his regular classes when he went back. And by season 5, this motherfucker was on the goddamn debate team.
I mean, he was also being raised by the cop, but
Yeah, he was being raised by the cop
I had
because
a
the
little bit
serial
to do with
killer
it
and
because his mama would have definitely made sure he wasn't on the debate team.
yes, and that goes to parenting.
Yep. And some of these parents not knowing how to parent, not being
Hmm.
able to parent. When you stuck in the position because you stuck in the position, you tend to act like it. And when somebody gives you an opportunity to, somehow change your position, give you a boom. Now you ain't just looking at those jobs that don't require a GED. Now you got one, so now you can look at the ones that do require it. And I'm
Hmm.
not saying that should be the goal for people to stop at that point. That's not the point I'm making. I'm just saying that there's levels to everything, and if you're increasing people's levels, you should not be looked upon negatively. for it.
Hmm. So yeah, salute to the to LeBron and his school. Um, Off the court, continue to keep doing the shit that you do.
Hmm. On the court, I mean, check your own videos. It'll always be number.
Three.
Hey, look, I was gonna give him two, but it could be three, could be four. Tell you the truth,
Mm, well, we already know who number one and number two is to me.
Mike and Wilt.
Nope, Kareem, then Mike.
Oh, okay, Kareem then Mike. Hey, look. At the point we gonna stop disrespecting Wilt Chamberlain so much.
Yeah. See, but I feel like Wilt's on the court records pale in comparison to his off the court record.
I mean, they could, but you supposed to be penalized because he was so great over here. Also,
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, when you're that great, when you are literally perfect, 20,000 chicks, no off the books babies.
man. Man.
Legendary
That
shit.
ain't perfect. That ain't perfect.
That-
That is impotent.
Call it what you want.
Not impotent. What's the one where you shoot blank?
Did he got fixed?
Not fixed though. When you shooting blanks, when you trying to fire off, and oh shit, my gunpowder wet. Damn,
Yeah, what the fuck is that called?
it's sterile,
Yeah, sterile.
but it's another word. I thought it wasn't our word. I don't know.
Maybe he was, and maybe he went and got the snip snip so that because he knew he's finna be fucking all types of chicks. He ain't want nothing.
Yeah, but that's just finding out. Like that's like finding out Mickey Mantle corked his back. Like, like it's only impressive if your pullout game is that strong, Paul. Uh,
I don't even know. I don't even think it's his pullout game. Honestly, I think it's his "so what you gonna do" conversation. This nigga had
oh,
a script that was unfucking beatable.
I left a couple hundred on the nightstand. Go ahead and take care of that game. It was impeccable,
Man,
undefeated.
legendary. See, and that's why, like, when you that great at that, you yeah, 50 and 25. Yeah, you set a record for you averaged 48.5 minutes for a season. You managed to lead the league in assists one season because you decided to. Yeah, yeah, all right, that's cool. But you got the same speech that worked on 20,000 chicks and made sure all of them followed through.
Hey, look,
That's that's the shit that icons are made of.
that motherfucker. If you done, if you done, yeah, all right, you chewed it all up. All right, that's better than hey. I went to the dry cleaner. Need to see you in the bathroom right quick. Like he's taking his paper off this shit.
Oh shit.
Those who got it. Oh,
Yeah,
shit. Yeah. But hey, look, LeBron, keep doing your shit. Don't let these motherfuckers get you off your pivot.
yeah, nah.
Travel with grace, sir. Like you've been doing. Um, carrying ass. Uh, but continue to carry these children forward to prosperity, like you do the basketball.
Yeah. Don't
Oh,
drop the ball
all
like you
the time.
did against the Mavericks in 2010.
Mm, I see what you did there. Had to bring the motherfucker up. You was having a fine show.
Yep, I did.